What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to break down a full social media sales funnel. This is going to be the process of taking short clips and turning them into high-paying clients. We're going to walk through every step from the short clips on TikTok and Instagram that grab attention to the longer form content on YouTube that builds trust, all the way down to how setters and closers will turn that attention into sales. If you've ever wondered how content creators and course sellers actually monetize their views, this chart right here breaks it down perfectly. Let's get right into it. So with every sales funnel, there's 3 things that you're going to want to keep in mind and make sure you're implementing. The first is going to be building awareness. The second is going to be nurturing potential clients. And the third is going to be conversion. I'm going to go over all 3 of these and how you can implement them into your system, so stick around and you'll find out how in the rest of this video. When it comes to building awareness, you're going to do this through short 15-second to 2-minute long social media videos on TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. There's endless types of videos you can do, but I'll give you 4 different things to think about when implementing social media videos to drive sales or to start building warm leads. Number 1 is going to be to implement calls to action in your social media videos. This can come from saying it verbally in the video or adding it in the captions, but for this specific strategy, what we want people to do is comment whatever word applies to your video, and then what you're gonna do is, whether it's you or a setter, which we'll talk about later down the line, they'll DM them a link to a full-length YouTube video that goes over this topic in more detail. Another type of video that you can do is gonna be skits. These are ones that you can keep really short. You can keep them 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and still convey a sense of what you're offering. A lot of the time, these can be comical and can really grab attention and get people starting to trust you. The next type of videos you could do would be quick wins or did you know tips. These are going to be thought leadership pieces that build your authority on the subject, getting people to start trusting you. And of course, if you see any trends that you can align with your subject matter, hop right on it. Don't hesitate to do a trend. Even if it flops, there's a good chance that one of them at some point will catch the algorithm and go viral. So it always does help to get on any trend that you've seen has a little bit of virality. You can always ride that wave a little bit as well. The main goal of this section is to build awareness with new viewers, and implementing those call to actions starts building you a list of warm potential leads. Step number 2 is going to be nurturing, and this is going to be done through longer form content on YouTube. These videos will range from 5 minutes to 15 minutes, and these are going to be a lot longer and a lot more in-depth on the subject matter. Some types of content that you can do would be deep dives into your subject, or content where you explain your subject matter in detail so it starts to build trust with your viewers. One of the best things you can do would be case studies, testimonials, or step-by-step breakdowns of somebody who's used your product or your service and has benefited from it. There's literally no other thing that can get somebody to trust you more than seeing other people use your product or service and benefit themselves from it. There's literally no other way. That's the best way to get people to trust you, is to see that other people are using it. Now, I've mentioned CTAs over and over again, and YouTube is no different. You're going to be using them over and over again in your YouTube videos, and there's a couple different types that you can use. So one thing about YouTube that's great is it's a free barrier of entry for your viewers. They're not having to pay anything, but they're getting a lot of information for free, and it starts to build trust. There's a couple other ways you can do that, one of which would be doing something like a Discord community. This is something where people can go and join for free. However, you can do chats, or you can post things in there where it's a little bit more personal, or at least it feels that way to the people that have joined. This is another free barrier of entry where they can get some extra value without having to spend any money. This is also a great way for other people in the community to kind of back your work and, like I said, give you even more authority. So we always recommend doing a call to action to either an email subscription or a free community like that, where there's just another free barrier of entry for people to trust you more and to get a little bit more value. And then of course you want a call to action to your core offer. So whatever you're selling, whatever your high ticket offer is, you want a call to action to that offer. Believe it or not, some people, after joining your Discord or after joining your community or after watching your YouTube videos, they will start to trust you enough to purchase your high ticket offer just from those alone. So it's always great to have a meeting link set up in your description so people can set up an appointment to speak with you or your salespeople, because they might trust you enough already off of the YouTube videos. The main goal of this section is to educate, qualify, and turn a regular viewer into a warm prospect. And this is going to come to our third step. You may be asking yourself, how do I turn these comments into sales? And I'll show you right now. So there's two separate positions in your sales team. There's going to be a setter and a closer. And if you're a small enough company, you may be both of these, but it's always great to think ahead and think about how you can start outsourcing this in the future. These are going to be the people that are responding to your DMs for you, setting appointments, meeting with the potential clients, and closing the sale. So as an example, I'll use a day trader selling a mentorship course. So if they do a 1-minute long video explaining a topic on trading, and at the end of the video they say, comment trade below and I'll send you the full-length YouTube video. Everybody that comments trade becomes a warm lead. At this point, you're going to respond to that person's comment and say sent, and there are some automatic response tools that you can use for this. And then your setter, whether that's you or somebody else, is going to send them a DM with that full-length video going over that full topic. At that point, you're going to want to make sure you have a CRM or some form of tracking to make sure you keep track of everybody you've sent that to, because later down the line, once they've watched a couple of their YouTube videos, then that setter has a much higher probability of setting an appointment for those closers to close that sale. This is a pretty high-level overview of having a sales funnel on your social media, but I did want to go through this high level first before I do individual videos so you can see overall how it's done. But I will be doing individual videos on each one of these sections and more specifics on the type of platforms you can use, different ways you can hire or onboard people, and just ways to make it a lot easier for yourself. So subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can see when those videos come out. So I hope to see you in those future videos.